The starship hummed with quiet power, metallic walls glowing faintly with pale blue energy. Kai stepped cautiously across the corridor, the sound of his boots echoing softly against the polished floor. He had been chosen as the first human observer aboard the Veari cruiser, a ship that humans had only seen in data streams and legends. The Veari were the galaxy's most feared and enigmatic species, known for their strength, intelligence, and ruthless command of technology. His heart pounded with a mix of fear and excitement. This mission could change the fate of humanity itself. The corridor opened into a vast hall that seemed larger than any human building. Crystals embedded in the walls radiated soft, shimmering light, creating a surreal atmosphere. Kai's eyes widened. The room was filled with aliens, tall, graceful, and otherworldly. Their skin glimmered in colors humans had never imagined, metallic blues, pale golds, soft violets. Their eyes were enormous and glowing, reflecting curiosity, intelligence, and a hint of suspicion. Every movement they made was precise, elegant, almost ceremonial, as if they were born to command attention. And then she appeared. The princess stepped forward, her presence undeniable. Her skin was a luminous gold, smooth and flawless. Her hair, like molten silver, cascaded down her back in waves. Her eyes glowed with an inner light, shifting with emotions that were almost impossible for Kai to read. Her movements were fluid and deliberate, commanding respect without a word. She was a legendary Veari princess, known across countless star systems as a being of unmatched power and beauty. Kai's breath caught in his throat. He knew protocol demanded he bow, stay silent, and show deference. But as he stared into her eyes, he noticed something unexpected. Curiosity, a flicker of amusement, a spark that made his chest tighten. "Watch your mouth, human," she said sharply, her voice cutting through the quiet like a blade. "We do not tolerate disrespect in this hall." The words hit Kai like a shockwave. Every alien present stopped moving. Heads tilted slightly, observing him like predators watching prey. The pressure was immense. Every fiber of his being screamed for him to retreat, apologize, or run. Instead, he smiled, just a little, careful not to be too bold. "I wasn't planning to, but your warning makes my joke even more dangerous," he said softly. The hall froze. Even the hum of the ship seemed to pause. The princess's eyes narrowed, a mixture of irritation and curiosity forming on her sharp, beautiful face. Kai realized immediately that he had crossed a line, but perhaps, just perhaps, he had captured her attention. A faint, soft chuckle escaped her lips. Musical, unexpected, almost human. It made Kai's heart skip a beat. He noticed subtle changes in her posture. Her arms relaxed slightly, shoulders shifting, her glowing eyes no longer cold but observant, intrigued. Kai took a small, careful step forward, his mind racing. "I hear humans are famous for bad jokes. I thought I should contribute to your education." The princess's lips twitched, the closest she had come to a smile. "You dare joke in front of me?" she asked, disbelief and curiosity tangled in her voice. "Yes," Kai said, surprising himself with the steadiness of his tone. "I believe humor is universal, even across galaxies." She stared at him, eyes sharp yet luminous, then tilted her head ever so slightly. For a moment, she did not speak. Then, unexpectedly, she laughed again, a sound like wind chimes in sunlight, soft and warm. The tension in the room dissipated slightly, replaced by a new energy Kai could not name. Kai realized he was witnessing something extraordinary. This princess, feared across the stars, was laughing at a human joke. Her gaze softened, yet it remained commanding. "Your courage is unusual," she murmured, her voice now quieter, almost private. "Most humans would tremble in my presence. Most would bow, beg, or flee. But you speak as if fear is not your master." Kai shrugged lightly, hiding his nerves. "Fear is natural," he admitted, "but sometimes you must take a risk, even with creatures as intimidating as you." Her lips curved into a faint, elegant smile. "Perhaps you are not like the others," she whispered, her eyes glowing brighter for a moment. Then she turned sharply to the surrounding aliens. "Leave us. I wish to speak with this human alone." One by one, the alien attendants bowed and glided out, their movements graceful, leaving Kai and the princess alone. The hum of the ship was the only sound now, mingled with the faint glimmer of lights reflecting on her golden skin. Kai felt both the thrill and weight of the moment. Alone with the most powerful being in the galaxy, he had only seconds to make a real impression. "So," she said, her voice lower, softer, but still commanding, "do all humans speak boldly, or is it just you?" Kai smiled, masking the nervous tension in his chest. "Depends on the human," he said. "Some are brave, some not so much." Her laugh returned, richer this time, and it warmed him in a way he had never expected. Kai realized his boldness, his small act of humor, had reached her, not as a formal protocol or skillful diplomacy, but as something human, something genuine. She took a step closer, eyes studying him with fascination. "You are different. I did not expect laughter from a human today. But now I am curious. Perhaps you are worth my time." Kai's chest tightened, and a shiver ran through him. This moment, this single choice, this single joke, could change everything. If he played his cards right, he could gain her trust, and maybe, just maybe, humanity could find an ally in the most powerful alien in the galaxy. For the first time in his life, Kai realized that courage and a little humor could truly cross the boundaries of worlds. Kai stood in the center of the grand hall, still feeling the thrill of the princess's laughter. The glow of her golden skin made her seem almost otherworldly. Yet now, standing so close, he realized she was more real than anyone he had ever met. Her eyes studied him like a predator watching prey, but a predator curious enough not to strike. "You amuse me, human," she said softly, stepping closer. Her voice was melodic but sharp, commanding respect. "Most humans would not dare joke in front of me. Most would freeze, and their courage would crumble. But you do not." Kai swallowed, unsure if this was praise or a warning. "I think courage sometimes comes from necessity," he said, "and maybe a little bit from stubbornness." The princess tilted her head, considering his words. "Interesting," she murmured. Then her eyes narrowed, and a faint smile curved her lips. "Perhaps you're clever, but I need to know if your mind is as sharp as your tongue. Humans are unpredictable. That can be dangerous." Kai's stomach tightened. He could feel the weight of her words. Every movement of hers, every glance was calculated, precise. He realized that to survive this encounter, he would have to match her, not with strength, but with wit and intelligence. "Then test me," he said boldly. "I will not back down." Her eyes lit up with something dangerous and thrilling. "Very well. You will face a challenge, human, one that will test your wit, courage, and adaptability. Fail, and you may regret it. Succeed, and perhaps I will find you interesting enough to continue this conversation." Kai's pulse raced. "I accept," he said. The princess waved her hand, and the floor beneath them shifted. The metallic surface dissolved into an energy platform, glowing with soft blue light. Surrounding them, holographic images of strange alien landscapes, creatures, and puzzles appeared, hovering in midair. The hall transformed into a test chamber, a mix of illusion, intelligence, and danger. "This is a Vayari trial," she explained. "We do not use weapons here. This is not about force. This is about your mind and your courage. Only one human has ever attempted this trial, and none have succeeded." Kai's heart pounded. He had no idea what to expect. He looked at the floating images. Alien creatures with glowing eyes, complex patterns that seemed to shift and twist, and mysterious doors that appeared and disappeared. It was overwhelming, but he could not show fear. "First," the princess continued, "you must solve the puzzle of the shifting paths. One wrong step, and the floor will vanish beneath you. Are you ready?" Kai nodded. "I'll do my best." The holographic paths rearranged themselves rapidly. Kai took a deep breath and focused, watching the patterns carefully. He noticed subtle shifts in the light, tiny movements that revealed which paths were stable. Step by step, he moved forward, careful but confident. His hands brushed against the holographic walls, feeling their soft energy, sensing the rhythm of the trial. The princess watched silently, her eyes glowing brighter with each successful step. She leaned slightly forward, intrigued by the human who dared to navigate her trial without hesitation. Kai reached the final platform. The last puzzle hovered before him. A rotating cube covered in symbols. He studied it carefully. His mind raced, recalling patterns and sequences, trying combinations rapidly but methodically. Beads of sweat formed on his forehead, but he did not give up. His fingers moved quickly, adjusting the cube, aligning symbols in the correct order. A soft click sounded. The cube dissolved, and the energy platform beneath him stabilized. The hall returned to its original form. Kai exhaled in relief. He had passed the first part of the trial. The princess stepped closer, her golden glow bright and radiant. "Impressive," she said. "Most humans would have failed at the first step. You are different." But this was only the beginning. The next trial will test your emotional strength. Kai raised his eyebrows. "Emotional strength?" "Yes," she said. Her voice softened almost imperceptibly. "You have courage and wit. But can you withstand fear, doubt, and temptation? Can you keep your mind clear when everything around you shifts?" Before Kai could answer, the holographic landscape shifted again. This time, he was no longer in the hall. The floor and walls disappeared, replaced by a vast alien desert under a sky of swirling colors. Strange alien creatures emerged, some towering and fierce, others delicate and beautiful. Their eyes glowed, watching him, waiting for him to falter. Kai's first instinct was fear, but he forced himself to stay calm. He remembered the princess's words. This was about emotional strength. Every step he took, every choice he made, required confidence. Every glance he stole at the glowing creatures reminded him that hesitation could cost him the trial. The princess's voice echoed through the desert, soft yet commanding. "Do not run from fear. Human, face it, and you will understand it. Only then can you pass the final trial." Kai's heart beat wildly. He realized that this challenge was more than a test. It was a lesson, a way for the princess to understand him, and for him to understand her. Each step he took, each fear he overcame, brought him closer not only to succeeding in the trial, but also to forging a connection that could change everything between humans and the Veari. And as he moved forward into the glowing desert, Kai could feel the princess watching him, her curiosity deepening, her fascination growing. She had laughed at his joke before, but now she was truly intrigued. Kai knew one thing. If he succeeded, he would not just survive. He might become the first human to earn her trust. The glowing desert stretched endlessly before Kai, its sands shimmering in colors he had never seen before, violet, silver, and soft green. The sky above swirled with streaks of pink and gold, casting strange shadows across the dunes. Every step he took seemed to echo in the vastness. Though there was no wind, no sound except the quiet on the ship and the distant voice of the princess. "Remember, human." Her voice floated through the desert, calm yet sharp. "This is not just about courage. You must face your fears, your doubts, and your instincts. Only then will you understand true strength." Kai glanced around nervously. Shapes began to emerge from the sands. At first, they looked like normal creatures, but as they moved closer, he realized they were illusions, creatures born from his own subconscious fears. Some were towering beasts with glowing eyes, their claws dragging across the sands. Others were smaller, whispering shadows that seemed to creep closer with every heartbeat. Kai's first instinct was to run. His mind screamed at him to retreat, to escape the hallucinations. But he remembered the princess's words. "Do not run. Face it." He took a deep breath, focusing on one creature at a time. The towering beast roared, a sound that felt like it shook the desert, and lunged at him. Kai dodged instinctively, then stopped. He stared at the beast, noticing the shimmer in its eyes. It wasn't real. It was projection, a test of his courage. Kai spoke aloud, almost to himself, "I will not be afraid of illusions." As he said the words, the beast froze, then slowly dissolved into sand, leaving nothing behind. Kai felt a rush of relief, but he knew this was only the beginning. More illusions appeared, some whispering doubts in his mind, questioning his ability, his intelligence, even his courage. "Why are you here, human? You don't belong. You will fail." Kai clenched his fists. He had faced tough situations before, but never like this. His thoughts raced, but he forced himself to focus on reality. on what he could control. Step by step, he moved forward, confronting each shadow with calm determination. In the distance, he saw a figure standing on a dune, golden skin glowing softly under the alien sky. The princess. She watched him silently, her arms crossed, her expression unreadable. Her eyes glimmered with curiosity and admiration, though she did not intervene. She was letting him learn, letting him grow through the trial. Kai's heart raced. Every step he took felt heavier, the illusions becoming more realistic, more threatening. A massive shadow loomed ahead, a creature with multiple eyes, claws sharper than anything he had ever imagined. Kai froze for a moment, fear gnawing at him. But then he remembered the joke he had made in the hall, the laughter of the princess echoing in his mind. She laughed at my courage. I can do this. He took a deep breath and faced the creature. Instead of running, he moved confidently, observing its patterns, its movements. With careful steps, he avoided its strikes and noticed the weak points in its illusionary form. With a swift motion, he disrupted the shadow, and it disintegrated into the shimmering sand beneath his feet. Kai's chest heaved with exhaustion, but a smile formed on his face. For the first time, he realized that this trial was teaching him more than courage. It was teaching him control over fear, over his mind, and over the instinct to give up. The princess approached her, steps silent, her glowing eyes fixed on him. "You endure," she said softly. "You do not falter when faced with what terrifies you. That is rare in your kind." Kai wiped sweat from his forehead. "I learned quickly," he said, trying to sound casual, though his voice trembled slightly. "Fear doesn't help anyone survive." She tilted her head, studying him with intensity. "True, but emotion can be dangerous too. You have wit and courage, but what about empathy? Compassion? That is your final test." Kai frowned. "Empathy?" "Yes," she said. "You will encounter another illusion, one that challenges your heart. How you respond will determine if you can truly understand strength and whether humans can be trusted beyond survival instincts." Before he could prepare, the sand shifted again. A figure emerged, a young alien child, trembling, calling for help. Its eyes glimmered with fear, its small body weak and fragile. Kai's mind raced. The child seemed real, though he knew it could be another illusion. The princess's voice echoed softly. "Do not hesitate. Your choice will reveal your true nature." Kai's heart pounded. He could see the shadows around the child, hints of danger. He knew that hesitation could destroy the illusion or cause him to fail. Without thinking, he ran forward, scooping the child into his arms and shielding it from the threatening shadows. The desert shifted violently. Wind and illusion swirled, testing his balance, his resolve. But Kai held the child firmly, moving step by step, refusing to let fear control him. Finally, the illusions dissolved. The desert returned to calm, and the princess stood before him, her golden glow brighter than ever. She studied him silently, then spoke, her voice softer, almost warm. "You passed, not just with courage or wit, but with your heart." Kai lowered the child gently, realizing it had been a test of empathy all along. His chest heaved with relief and pride. He had survived fear, mastered his mind, and now shown compassion even when the outcome was uncertain. The princess's eyes softened, her curiosity and admiration clear. "Perhaps humans are not so simple after all," she said, almost thoughtfully. "Perhaps you are capable of more than I imagined." Kai smiled, exhausted but exhilarated. "I hope so," he said quietly, "because if I can't survive this, I won't survive anything out here." The princess regarded him for a long moment, then turned slightly, signaling him to follow. "There is one final trial, and this one will test the mind and the heart together. Prepare yourself. Human, what comes next will define you." Kai followed, feeling a mix of dread and excitement. He knew the journey was far from over, but now he understood that he was not just a guest here. He was part of something larger, something that could change everything between humans and the Veari. Kai followed the princess through a shimmering corridor that had appeared in the middle of the glowing desert. The sands faded behind him, replaced by walls of liquid light that pulsed softly with a rhythm like a heartbeat. Every step felt heavy, yet purposeful. He had passed the test of courage, wit, and empathy. But now, the princess had said the final trial would test both mind and heart together. They entered a circular chamber that seemed to float in nothingness. The floor was made of a transparent material that allowed them to see swirling galaxies beneath their feet. Stars, planets, and glowing nebulae rotated slowly, giving the illusion of standing above the universe itself. Kai's eyes widened. This trial was unlike anything he could have imagined. The princess stepped forward, her golden glow brighter than ever. "This is the final trial, human," she said. "You will face visions of your deepest desires and greatest fears. The illusions will tempt you, confuse you, and challenge every instinct. You must make choices that reveal your true character. Only then will you succeed." Kai swallowed hard. He had survived physical and emotional challenges, but now the trial would test his inner self. The chamber pulsed, and suddenly, images appeared before him. First, he saw his home on Earth, safe and prosperous. His family waved at him, smiling. Warmth and longing filled his chest. The desire to stay, to protect what he loved, was strong. Then the scene shifted. He saw humanity under attack, cities burning, fleets destroyed. Screams and chaos surrounded him. Shadows of alien invaders loomed, threatening everything he had fought to protect. Fear, guilt, and urgency crashed over him. Kai's mind raced. Should he retreat to safety, or push forward into the unknown? The princess's voice cut through the chaos. "Do not let emotion blind you. You must act with both heart and reason. Your choice now will show if you are truly worthy." Kai looked at the illusions, breathing heavily. He knew the right choice was not just about survival or courage. It was about understanding responsibility. Humanity needed him, but he also had to earn the trust of the Veari. He could not let fear or desire guide him blindly. As he pondered, another illusion appeared, a version of the princess herself. This one smiled warmly at him, radiating beauty and acceptance. "Stay here with me," she seemed to whisper. "Forget the dangers. Forget your mission. You could have anything you desire." Kai felt the pull of temptation. It was stronger than anything he had experienced. To leave the trials behind and live in safety with her, it was almost irresistible. But he remembered everything he had learned so far. Courage, wit, empathy. He could not let personal desire override duty. "I cannot," he said aloud, his voice firm despite the temptation. "I have responsibilities to my people, to myself, and to understanding you fully." The illusions wavered, flickering. The scene of chaos, the burning cities, the tempting vision of the princess, they all began to merge, swirling around him. He felt pressure building, as if the chamber itself were testing his resolve. His hands trembled, but his heart remained steady. The princess stepped closer, her glowing eyes locked onto his. "Do you understand now, human?" she asked softly. "True strength comes from balancing your heart and mind, not giving in to fear or desire. You have proven that you can act wisely even when every instinct tells you otherwise." Kai nodded, exhausted but resolute. "I understand. Strength isn't just about power. It's about making the right choice, even when it's hard." The chamber shifted once more. The swirling galaxies beneath them faded, replaced by the familiar hull of the Veari cruiser. The trials were over. Kai stood alone with the princess, both of them breathing softly in the quiet. She studied him silently for a moment, then spoke, her tone almost gentle. "You have passed the final trial, human, not through force, nor through luck, nor through skill alone. You have shown courage, wit, empathy, and wisdom. You are remarkable." Kai felt a rush of relief and pride, but he also noticed something unexpected. A warmth in her eyes, a softness that had not been there before. The playful spark from their first encounter had returned, but now it was deeper, layered with respect and curiosity. "You have earned my attention," the princess continued. "Few humans could survive even one trial, let alone all three. You are different. Perhaps you are worthy of something more." Kai swallowed, unsure what she meant, but the gravity in her voice made him pay close attention. "Something more?" he asked carefully. "Yes," she said, a small smile playing on her lips. "An alliance, a trust, and perhaps even friendship. We will see how far your courage and heart can take you. Kai felt a surge of hope. The trials had not only tested him, they had changed him. He realized that he had not just survived. He had earned a place in the eyes of one of the most powerful beings in the galaxy. The princess extended her hand, a gesture both formal and intimate. "Come," she said. "There is more for you to learn. Human. But for now, rest. You have proven yourself worthy of my attention, and that is no small feat." Kai took her hand, feeling a spark of connection, not just between worlds, but between two beings who had begun to understand each other. This moment marked the beginning of something extraordinary, something that could change a relationship between humans and the Veari forever. He realized that his journey was far from over. The trials had tested his mind, his heart, and his courage. But the real adventure, the real challenge, was just beginning. Kai stepped out of the shimmering chamber, still feeling the weight of the trials he had just completed. The princess walked beside him, her golden glow lighting the corridor. He could feel her eyes on him, not with judgment, but with interest. She had tested his courage, wit, and heart, and he had passed. Now, it seemed, the real work was about to begin. "You have done well, human," she said, her voice soft but firm. "The trials were not just for you. They were for me as well. I wanted to see if your kind is capable of more than survival instincts." Kai nodded, trying to steady his racing heart. "I will do whatever it takes to prove humanity is worthy," he said. The princess studied him, her glowing eyes piercing but thoughtful. "Worthy, that is not enough. You must act. There are threats approaching, and humanity may not even know they exist." Kai frowned. "Threats? What do you mean?" She stopped in front of a large viewing screen embedded in the wall. The stars and planets outside the ship seemed ordinary at first, but then Kai noticed movement. Fleets of unknown ships, fast and precise, heading toward human-controlled sectors. His heart skipped a beat. "These are Veari scouts," the princess explained. "They have detected your species, but they do not yet know your strength. Most humans would panic at the sight of our fleets. Most would submit. But I have seen what you are capable of. That is why I chose to bring you here." Kai stared at the approaching fleets, his mind racing. He had always known humanity was vulnerable in the galaxy, but seeing alien ships this close, knowing the power they could unleash, it was terrifying. Yet, the fear that rose inside him was tempered by the lessons he had learned during the trials. Courage, wit, empathy, and wisdom, these were his tools. "What do you want me to do?" he asked. The princess's lips curved into a faint smile. "You will accompany me on a reconnaissance mission. It is dangerous, but you have proven you can handle it. You will see our world, understand our ways, and perhaps help us judge whether humans can be allies." Kai nodded, a mixture of excitement and anxiety surging through him. "I'm ready," he said firmly. The princess led him to a small shuttle, sleek and silver, its surface glowing faintly with energy. She sat beside him, her posture elegant, her eyes scanning the stars with sharp focus. Kai noticed subtle movements, the way her fingers hovered over controls, the precision in her movements. Every detail made it clear that she was not just beautiful, but deadly in her skill. As they entered hyperspace, Kai stole a glance at her. "I have to ask," he said carefully, "why me? Why risk a human on your mission?" She looked at him, her glowing eyes intense. "Because most humans are predictable. You are not. You think differently, act differently. That is why I chose you. And perhaps because I wanted to see if your humor, your courage, and your heart could survive in real situations, not just trials." Kai chuckled softly. "I guess my jokes aren't entirely useless after all." Her lips twitched, almost a smile. "Perhaps not," she said, her voice lighter. Then, her expression shifted back to serious. "Focus, human. We are approaching the edge of the scout fleet's detection range. Once we are in position, you will observe, learn, and act if necessary. But remember, any mistake could cost lives." Kai's pulse quickened. He had faced illusions, fear, and temptation, but this was real. One wrong move, and humanity could be at risk. He felt the weight of responsibility pressing down, but he also felt a fire of determination. He had come this far, and he would not fail now. The shuttle glided silently through the stars, approaching the edge of the fleet. Kai could see the ships now, sleek, angular, moving like living predators. Each vessel seemed to pulse with energy, lights blinking rhythmically as if breathing. He swallowed hard, but the fear that rose in him was not paralyzing. He had learned to control fear, to use it as a tool, not a weapon against himself. The princess placed a hand lightly on his shoulder. Stay focused. Watch the fleet, analyze their movements, and trust your instincts. You may be the first human to witness Veari tactics up close. This is not just observation, it is preparation. Kai nodded, feeling the weight of her trust settle on him. For the first time, he realized that his actions could truly make a difference. Not just for himself, not just for humanity, but for the fragile connection between their species. The shuttle approached the fleet, engines humming softly. Kai's eyes widened. The Veari scouts moved with terrifying precision, coordinating like a single organism. He felt awe, fear, and a strange sense of exhilaration. The princess leaned closer, her glowing eyes scanning the ships. Watch closely, human. Observe everything. This is where knowledge becomes power, and where courage meets reality. Kai's fingers tightened on the controls. He knew that in this moment, he was no longer just a participant in a trial. He was part of something larger, a mission that could determine the fate of worlds. And beside him, the princess, the alien beauty who had once snapped at him, watched with a gaze that was no longer only a judgment, but of trust. Kai inhaled deeply, ready for what was to come. The real test of courage, skill, and heart was only beginning. The shuttle glided silently through the void, the stars stretching into streaks as hyperspace folded around them. Kai sat beside the princess, his eyes fixed on the fleet ahead. Hundreds of Veari scout ships moved in perfect formation, their sleek hulls pulsing with energy. It was the most precise and terrifying display of power he had ever seen. Kai swallowed hard, feeling the pressure of the moment. This was no longer a trial. Every decision he made, every observation he recorded, could save lives or cost them. The princess leaned toward him, her golden glow illuminating the cockpit. Watch closely, human. Learn everything you can. Their formation is flawless, but every system has a pattern. Spot it, and we can predict their moves. Kai nodded, taking a deep breath. He had faced illusions, fears, and temptations before, but this was real. Real danger, real stakes, and real consequences. He felt his heartbeat steady. Fear was still there, but now it was a tool, sharpening his senses rather than paralyzing him. The shuttle approached the fleet's perimeter. Kai noticed subtle irregularities. Tiny gaps in the formation, slight delays in the blinking lights of the ships, a rhythm that repeated every few minutes. He pointed them out to the princess. She glanced at him, eyes glowing softly. Interesting. You see what others might miss. That is why I brought you. Kai felt a surge of pride, quickly tempered by caution. What do we do with this information? He asked. We adapt, the princess said. We observe, and we act only when the moment is right. Speed and precision are everything. Suddenly, one of the scout ships broke formation, moving directly toward their shuttle. Kai's stomach dropped. They've spotted us, he shouted. The princess's hands moved across the controls with effortless precision. No, they are testing us. Remain calm. Kai's fingers clenched the armrest. The scout ship fired a pulse of energy, lighting up the space around them. Kai felt the hum of the impact vibrate through the shuttle. It was not enough to damage them, but it was a warning, a reminder that they were being watched. They are measuring our reaction, the princess said softly. Do not panic. React only when necessary. Kai focused, analyzing the ship's behavior. He noticed a pattern. The pulses were timed, almost like signals. He realized they could use this to their advantage. If we mirror their rhythm, he suggested, we might be able to pass through without further attack. The princess turned to him, her eyes wide with surprise and admiration. Clever, human. Very well, we will try your method. Kai and the princess synchronized their shuttle's movements with the pulses from the scout ship. Step by step, their vessel glided past the fleet, weaving through energy signals like a shadow. The tension was unbearable. every second stretching endlessly, but Kai's heart remained steady. Finally, they cleared the perimeter. The stars returned to normal, and the scout ships resumed their formation, as if nothing had happened. Kai exhaled, relief washing over him. The princess turned to him, her glowing eyes softening. "You have performed admirably, human. Your mind is sharp, and your courage is impressive." Kai laughed nervously, adrenaline still rushing. "I'm just glad we made it." She smiled faintly, a rare expression that made her appear almost human. "You have proven yourself once again. But know this, the universe is vast and threats are many. This was only a small part of what lies ahead." Kai nodded, feeling the weight of her words. The fleet they had encountered was just the beginning. Out there, beyond the stars, dangers awaited that no human had ever faced. And yet, he felt ready not only to survive, but to act, to think, to lead when necessary. The princess studied him silently, then said, almost in a whisper, "There is more I wish to show you, human, not just as an observer, but as someone I can trust. Follow me." Kai followed, his mind racing with questions. What did she mean by trust? What would he see next? He realized that the trials had prepared him, but the real journey, one of alliance, discovery, and perhaps even deeper connection, was only beginning. The princess led him to a side corridor, one he had not noticed before. The walls shimmered with a strange energy, and a soft hum filled the air. "This place," she said, her voice low and serious, "holds knowledge and power that humans have never seen. You will learn, but only if you continue to prove your worth." Kai's pulse quickened. Adventure, danger, and discovery lay ahead. He had faced fear, survived trials, and navigated alien fleets. Now, the universe itself seemed to be opening before him, and he knew that every choice he made would matter, not just for him, but for humanity and for the Veari princess who had once snapped at him with a warning. As they entered the shimmering corridor, Kai felt a strange thrill, a mixture of excitement and purpose. He was no longer just a visitor or a test subject. He was part of something greater, a bridge between worlds, a human who could face the impossible. And beside him, the princess's glowing eyes shone with curiosity, respect, and perhaps something deeper that he could not yet name. Kai smiled to himself. Whatever came next, he was ready. Kai followed the princess through the shimmering corridor, the air humming with energy. He could feel the weight of history and power in every step. The princess had led him to a hidden chamber deep within the cruiser, a place few humans, or even Veari, had ever seen. Screens, devices, and floating holograms filled the room, each displaying star maps, alien technologies, and fleets scattered across the galaxy. "This," the princess said softly, "is the heart of our knowledge. Here, we control information, strategy, and power. But it is also a place of choice. Today, you will see the universe not only as it is, but as it could be." Kai's eyes widened. He had seen alien ships trials and fleets before, but this was beyond anything he could have imagined. Knowledge flowed like a river through the chamber, glowing symbols and shifting lights revealing secrets and possibilities. The princess turned to him, her golden glow soft but intense. "You have passed every test: courage, wit, empathy, adaptability. You have proven that humanity is capable of more than I ever imagined. But now you must choose. Will you stand with me, side by side, to face what comes next?" Kai felt a rush of purpose. This was more than a mission, more than survival. This was an opportunity to forge a bridge between humans and the Veari, to ensure the safety of both species. He nodded firmly. "I will stand with you. Humanity is ready to act, and I will do everything I can to prove that we are worthy of trust." The princess studied him, eyes glowing brighter. "Very well. Then our alliance begins. But first..." Her hand moved gracefully, and the chamber shifted, opening a view into deep space. Kai gasped. A massive Veari strike fleet was preparing to engage another alien species, an unknown enemy moving with speed and firepower that threatened multiple systems. The Veari princess's voice was calm but commanding. "This is a threat I spoke of. Most humans would panic, hide, or attempt to flee. You will act." Kai's mind raced. The fleet was vast, far more powerful than anything humanity had seen. But he remembered everything from the trials. Courage, wit, empathy, observation. He focused, analyzing the enemy fleet, looking for weaknesses. "Their formation is tight," he said aloud, pointing to the holographic projection. "But notice the gaps near their rear vessels. They rely heavily on speed, but sacrifice coordination at the edges. We could exploit that." The princess's eyes narrowed in approval. "Your observation is correct. You will lead the strike team with me. Together, we will turn the battle in our favor." Kai's heart pounded. This was no simulation, no trial. This was real. Death and destruction could strike at any moment. Yet, he felt ready. He had faced fear, illusions, temptation, and now real danger. The shuttle they boarded was fast, armed, yet sleek. Kai and the princess flew at the head of the Veari fleet, coordinating attacks with precision. Laser beams lit up the void, ships maneuvering in perfect harmony. Kai's calculations, observations, and quick decisions allowed them to exploit gaps in the enemy formation. The battle was fierce. Explosions rocked the ships, and alarms screamed through the cruisers. Yet Kai remained calm, communicating strategies to the princess. Her golden glow flashed with intensity as she commanded her own forces, her eyes meeting as occasionally with silent approval. At a critical moment, an enemy dreadnought broke through the formation, heading straight for a human colony. Kai acted instantly, piloting the shuttle toward it while coordinating a Veari strike. The princess followed, her hands moving with deadly precision. Together, they executed a maneuver so daring and precise that the dreadnought was disabled before it could reach the planet. The fleet around them cheered in relief and astonishment. Kai felt a rush of adrenaline and pride. Humanity's actions, guided by his decisions, had made a real difference. After the battle, the princess led him back to the cruiser. The stars outside glowed peacefully once more, the chaos replaced by calm. She studied him, eyes softening into something almost human. "You have done more than survive human," she said. "You have proven that humans are not only capable of courage, but of wisdom, empathy, and decisive action. You have earned my trust and something more." Kai felt a warmth in his chest. "What do you mean?" he asked carefully. The princess smiled faintly, the first full smile Kai had ever seen on her face. "An alliance is more than words. Today, you have shown that humans can be allies. Together, we can face greater threats, protect both our species, and perhaps change the galaxy for the better. You have my respect and my partnership." Kai nodded, his voice steady but full of emotion. "I will honor that partnership. I promise. Humanity will not fail." She placed her hand lightly on his shoulder, a gesture of trust and connection. "I believe you. And now, human, the real journey begins." Kai looked out into the stars, the infinite possibilities stretching before him. He realized that he had survived trials, battles, and fear, but had also gained something far greater: trust, purpose, and an extraordinary alliance with a being who had once snapped at him with warning, but now stood by his side as a true partner. In that moment, Kai understood that courage, wit, empathy, and wisdom were not just tools. They were the bridge between species, the spark that could unite worlds. And together, he and the princess would face whatever the galaxy could throw at them. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, and Kai smiled. The adventure was only beginning. But for the first time, he knew he was not alone. Humanity had a chance. And with allies like the Veari princess, they might just thrive among the stars.